That is a fantastic way to start my morning. Instagram is unpredictable.
Oh boy.
Instagram is very unpredictable. But that was funny. Do I have shit in my teeth? No, we're good.
Are you on?
Yeah.
Gotta check.
Yeah. I'm live. When I first started going live, I had hair. and I would often come on live and realize my hair was all kinds of disheveled and fucked up. Nikki! I need to come down and like just descend on your place and come get and give some hugs and play with dogs and things like that. I love you, dear. Yeah, so I would get on and my hair was always a mess. Like it was always just disheveled in an unexpected way because I didn't have, yeah, anyway.
Like mine probably is now.
Maybe, yeah. So I told TikTok back then that, just so you guys know, if you want me to keep going live, you're going to have to do my hair check for me. How's the hair? Hey, Katie. How's the hair doing? No food in the teeth? We're good? Okay. Is lipstick all right? It's okay. Putting lipstick on is weird. For those of you who don't do it regularly, I am just learning to do it regularly because I'm 40 now and I feel like it's going to be my lipstick era. No matter what else I wear, I can still wear some fucking lipstick and it's going to be a lot of fun. But that means I have to learn actually how to put it on. You don't think about this part when you're like, I'm going to move into my lipstick era. Wait, how do I put that shit on?
What do you mean?
Somebody in our Discord suggested lip stain. Pooty toots.
What do you mean?
Somebody in our Discord suggested lip stain. Pooty toots, are you in here? Suggested lip stain, and I was like, oh, cool. Are you in here? Suggested lip stain, and I was like, oh, cool. That's interesting. I could check out lip stain. That looks, you know, not having gunk on your lips. Turns out I have some. And I realized I had some because I put it on and wore it for the day and then couldn't get it off my lips and was like, how do I get this shit off my face? And then I looked at the little thing and I was like, oh, it says lip stain. So, Sir Dogger McDoggingson, Sir, it's not time for knuckle sandwich. It's not. So, Sir Dogger McDoggingson, Sir, it's not time for knuckle sandwich. It's not time. You're fucking up my web back there. Can you go lay down? 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 It's not time to eat knuckle sandwiches. You knuckle sandwich muncher. He's hungry.
Shenanigans.
For knuckle sandwiches. See? He likes the knuckle sandwiches. Oh, YouTube, you say excellent connection, but I see nothing. Ugh. Thank you. We were talking about hats the other day, and this is my traveling hat, one that I don't know where I acquired this one, but this was a hair clip my friend made for me, and my hair usually ends up like this at some point again. So this now lives on my traveling hat. Hi, Joy. Good morning. I'm really just waiting for YouTube. YouTube slag. I'm really just waiting for YouTube. YouTube slagging this morning. Aloha. Today, my friends, we are going to sit for the last time this week. Not forever. Not for the last time forever. Just the last time this week. We're going to sit with the Vajra Mudra. That sounded very Vajra
Mudra.
Mudra. I'm sure there's a better pronunciation for it. Nicholas, where's my hair? Well, damn it. The pirates haven't had enough coffee yet this morning. I only had a few hours of sleep last night. I didn't go to bed till like 3 or so. So it's going to be interesting today. But I was going to make a really funny joke or like some sort of like absurd answer, you know, like it all... And the pirates are still asleep, which is why you get no funnies. The funny pirate is still sleeping. So, I don't know where my hair is. What? My hair?
Oh my god.
Oh my god! So, I don't know where my hair is. What? My hair?
Oh my god.
Oh my god! There we go.
It's all over here.
I gave it away. I don't know. I sold it. I don't know. Me too 3. Bill, me too 3. Oh my god, where's my hair? Hey you guys! Hey you guys!
Okay, I'll occupy the dog.
Okay, thanks.
I got this.
There's just here knuckle sandwich fights happening in the background here. Okay. Hey. Whoa, it's pajama time. Pajama-de-bop. Pajama to the left, pajama to the right. Pajama, PJ. Everybody's wearing them on Saturday night. Jamma, PJ. Now all around the room in one big line, wearing our pajamas and looking so fine. Hup, hup, it's pajama time. Do you ever get random kids songs stuck in your head? All right, looks like we're framed well over here.
I tried.
Do you want a knuckle sandwich? Do you want a knuckle? You want that one? Okay, hold on. Wait. Here. Is it good? Is it tasty? You want a knuckle sandwich? You want a knuckle sandwich? Or a hamburger? You want a hamburger? Hamburger. Knuckle sandwich. Hamburger. Just have a hamburger. Just have a hamburger. Okay, fine. Knuckle sandwich. You're gonna have to go outside if you don't cut this out. Do you want a treat? No, you're in my pocket. Knucklehead. I'm gonna give these over to Leb. Wild Robot is good. Bill, I adore you. Especially because sometimes you confuse me. I like the feeling of confusion.
Tingles the brain a little bit.
It tingles the brain, yeah. Okay. All right, good morning, everyone. Hello. For those of you who are new, good morning, everyone. Hello. For those of you who are new here, gosh. Hello. For those of you who are new here, my name is Reverend Deborah. I'm an interfaith minister, a movement facilitator, and dubbed by this amazing community here on TikTok, your shenaniganshaman. So thank you for seeing me. This is our Bhakti Bites class. Welcome. Thank you for the follow, friend. Just everybody, so you know, so you're aware. Thank you, Bill. So you're aware we are live on TikTok, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Good morning, Stuff Tough. How are you? Feel free to send me a message on Discord if you want to chat. So this is our Bhakti Bites class. Bhakti in Sanskrit means devotion. So, oh shit, what did I just walk into? Is this some crazy lady talking about devotion to some woo-woo something or other?
Maybe.
Maybe. In these classes, we practice devotion to self-care. Because before we can expect anyone to do anything for us, we absolutely need to learn to do those things for ourselves. It's an interesting thing when we spend absolutely need to learn to do those things for ourselves. It's an interesting thing when we spend our lives to fix our problems, or it's other people's responsibility to do things that we need them to do. And if they don't do them, then we throw tantrums and blame people and shame them and guilt them and feel victimized. It's an endless cycle that we can get ourselves in again and again and again and again and again, as long as we put our locus of control outside of ourselves. And we live in a world that has told you the only way to heal, the only way to learn, the only way to succeed is to accomplish something and to do something outside. And we live in a world that has told you the only way to heal, the only way to learn, the only way to succeed is to accomplish something and to do something outside of yourself. I'm here to tell you from personal experience, I tried that way for a long fucking time. But in all those years and learning all of these tools, from mindfulness, meditation, yoga, herbalism, nutrition, and just general shenanigans, right? Silly playfulness. That's actually the most powerful tool in my toolbox, is playfulness, shenanigans. I found that those trite sayings of you gotta love yourself first are so much more true than we really think that they are, or we really believe that they are. When I was growing up, I used to always hear from my mother, you'll know when you find love. Because I wanted to know. I wanted to know what it was like. I wanted to know what it would feel like. I wanted to know what it would sound like and taste like and smell like. I wanted to know every detail of it. So when I found it, I knew I had it. I didn't know what it was like as a kid. So I was like, please explain this to me, woman. And all she would say every time was, when you find it, you'll know. You'll experience it. And I'll tell you, I just turned 40 in September this year. And these last 3 years have been my first experience of genuine love, respect, a level of trust I didn't know I could have. And those things didn't come from using force and doing some huge, massive, like crazy transformative meditations and some big workshops and some whatever. You know what I did? 3 years ago, I applied the information that I'd been gathering all these years. Yeah, and it was kind of a facepalm moment, a little bit of an aha. Oh my God. It really is this simple. Show up for yourself every day. Focus your attention on your intention. And make sure that intention is aligned with your values and beliefs. Because if they're not, then you're operating unconsciously. And if you're operating unconsciously, who's in control? Who's the one driving your life? Who's the one making decisions? Is it your body? Is it your fear? Is it some idea that your parents put in your head when you were a kid? Is it some belief that your government has forced down your throat? Is there some narrative, some of the paradigm that you are currently raised in that is causing you to live life in a way that is potentially causing you chaos and struggle and pain and fucking strife? The reality is that we keep ourselves in suffering more often than not. And it's the hardest thing to manage. It's the hardest thing to recognize. It's the hardest thing to accept, acknowledge, and it's not the hardest thing to carry forward. It's one of the hardest things to acknowledge. That first step of recognizing that I am responsible for pretty much everything that goes on in my life to some degree or another is a massive weight of personal responsibility a lot of us are not ready to take on. But once you start taking that in little doses each moment, finding little bits of personal responsibility in each moment, what does responsibility mean? But cultivating my ability to respond. That's it. If I'm not responding, what am I doing? Reacting. repeating an action from the past. And if that action is from the past, it's most likely influenced by things outside of me, by my culture, by my caregivers, by my religion, by my past experiences, by the shit that went on. Not by the actual here and now, which is really all we have. All that exists that you can experience right here and now is now. When you cultivate that personal responsibility, our ability to respond, we become the captains of our ship. Or at least the first mate. I admittedly am the first mate to my captain. I have not made it to captain yet, but I have a guide up there who is standing in as my captain until we get to higher states of being. And we've got a really good relationship because for the first time in my life, I know how to negotiate between my captain and my ego. I can recognize when one of those ego characters shows up and says, I'm going to grab the wheel. Fear, anxiety, frustration, anguish, grief, need. Any of these things, my ego grabs the wheel. Why? To destroy my life? To fuck me up because the universe is out to get me because my ego is all bad and crazy? Might be crazy. But your ego is doing that, your body is doing that, your system is doing that, your brain is doing that. All of those things are there to support your wellness, to support your well-being. If there is tension in your body, it is your body saying, I need your attention. If there is tension in your life, it's your spirit, it's your energy saying, I need your attention. But the misnomer that most of us are sold is that where do I put my attention when that happens? Outside of myself. I go looking outside of myself for an answer. I go to the doctor who's outside of me, who doesn't live inside of me. I go look and read some other shits about somebody else's experience. Well, I go everywhere except within me. Greatest misdirection of all time. Lead you away from the source of your personal power. Lead you away from the source of your autonomy. Lead you away from the very tools that lead you to self-actualization. PJ Funny Bunny, you say, what's a higher state of being? When I say a higher state of being, I am actually referring to the frequency at which your system resonates. So every human has a toroidal field of energy that vibrates around them. It comes from the heart. It's made from the heart, generated from the electromagnetic pulse of the heart. And it's a finite toroidal field. Hi, Katrina. Good morning. Ajna. Not right now. When we experience things like fear or anger or shame, what happens to our vibration, to our frequency? Now, this is a measurable frequency. We can measure these things. When I exist in those states of being, my vibration lowers. My vibration becomes a denser state of being. When I move up into states of acceptance, compassion, maybe even joy, these experiences actually expand our energy body and raise the vibration, raise the frequency of our vibration. Your vibration can be measured. You can actually go get, I don't know what the machine's called, sorry. You can go get a thing and measure the frequency of your system. Thank you, friend. And when you're experiencing these denser emotions, guess what? Here's the thing. How do I know if it's a higher state of being or a lower state of being or a denser state of being? I don't like to say higher or lower. I try to say denser or more expansive, right? That way we take the judgment out of it. These denser states of being, you can feel in your body. Do you know the feeling of being angry? You know that weight of being sad, right? The tension of being angry. Those are very different than the ease of laughter and joy and love, right? You can physically feel this because your energy body moves through every part of your being. So pretty much everything we do in this class, in this space, is to affect the energy body, is to interact with the energy body through mudras, mantras, visualizations, breath work, and shenanigans, because shenanigans also raise your vibration, just FYI. In fact, like I said, they're some of my most powerful tools in my toolbox. So what does all that mean? Like, what the fuck are we going to do now? Thank you for those, 10 minutes of chattering away about what this space is for and who the heck I am. I'll tell you who I'm not. I'm not your guru. I am many things. I wear many hats. Herbalist, nutritionist, childcare specialist, right? Counselor, reverend, yoga teacher, meditation teacher, I don't know, a bunch of other things. Doula, death midwife. Stop naming all the things. But I am absolutely not your guru, because I am learning to be my guru. Again, the greatest misdirection is to send you outside of yourself looking for wisdom. You can find information. You can find knowledge. You can find insight and cool ideas. Yeah. Philosophies, theories, concepts, perspectives. You can gain all of these things from outside of yourself. But where do you find understanding? If I go around the world and I just put all that information up into my brain box, I'm like, here, file it away in the library, I might be able to retrieve that information when you ask me about it and recite, right, the names of mantras or the library. I might be able to retrieve that information when you ask me about it and recite, right, the names of mantras or the or what have you. But understanding, wisdom comes through cultivating understanding. Understanding comes through experience. Comes through being able to take a morsel of something and turn it around inside of you until you have experienced all facets of it. And the only one who does that for you is your guru within. When you are trying to make a change in your life or sitting in meditation and your guru says, focus all of your attention inside of your belly button. Focus all of your attention, all of your focus, all of your intention inside of your belly button. Keep it there. Stay there. Sink in deeper to your belly button. Your guru can talk like that for as long as your guru wants to talk like that. If you do not put your attention inside of your belly button and keep it there, and when your brain wanders off over here, you go, oops, and come back and bring it back to here, you won't receive the benefit from that teaching, will you? You won't receive the understanding or the wisdom from those tools. Your guru can't do that for you. Mr. Marshmallow, how do you release anger? There are a million ways to release energy. Some of my favorite ways, one of my favorite ways, my top way to release energy is dancing, especially big feelings like anger or grief. So if you've got the chance to put some headphones on and you've got somewhere you can dance like no one's watching, even if somebody is, then my friend, I highly recommend it. Other things that you can do to clear anger out of the body are drink water. Your liver is where we store anger. We store the energy of anger in our liver. So liver support herbs or teas also work. Things like dandelion or burdock. We store the energy of anger in our liver. So liver support herbs or teas also work. Things like dandelion or burdock. Sometimes these can aggravate the liver a little bit, like a healing crisis sort of deal. So if you decide to do a liver cleanse, it will help with anger, but it may aggravate it a little bit while you're doing the cleanse. So be mindful of that. If you want to skip that stuff, just go dancing. Just go dancing every single time that energy comes up. Take a deep breath in. Hello, anger! And put on something rageful and fucking let it scream. The thing we must realize is and put on something rageful and fucking let it scream. The thing we must realize is that like our energy field, just like our digestion, just like our breath, just like our life itself is finite. These things are temporary and ultimately can sync up with the rhythms of my body and of of the universe. An emotion comes up. I inhale that emotion. I make space for it. I acknowledge that it exists, it's valid, and hey, maybe even it has some information for me. If I keep getting aggravated and anger keeps getting triggered in this particular situation, it is absolutely a red flag, if we want to call it that, right? Where's the flag guy? It's a sign. Hey, it's your body saying, I need your attention. It's a sign. Hey, it's your body saying, I need your attention. Tension is your body. Attention. Every time tension arises, give it your attention. Inhale, make space. Exhale, let that shit go. Drop the stories, drop the attachments, Your brain likes to make connections. It's very good at being self-confirming. It's very good at proving you right. It's a safety mechanism. It's also an ego mechanism, but your brain is very good at it. So give it something good to prove right. I can let anger go. I can fucking stomp this shit out, right? Prove me right. I'm going to show you body. Anger, when it comes up, it is as temporary as my breath. I can breathe it in. Hey, anger, what's up? What do you have to say to me today? That fucker who just cut us off in traffic really made me feel like, put up my life at risk and maybe my kid's life at risk. Yeah, that's worth some anger. It is, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Good thing we didn't get hit. Yeah. Yes, I have these conversations sometimes outside of my brain. And I do them verbally out loud to help pull the emotion, pull the energy from inside of my system where it creates tension, where it gets stuck, where I find holding and it gums my, body up and shit, to outside of me. It's the difference between saying, I am angry, I am anger, I embody it, it's part of who I am, and it's an intrinsic piece of me, and I can't do anything about it, and I'm totally out of control. And saying, ooh, wow, anger just rose up inside of me. I experience it in these ways that I can perceive it. How interesting. I wonder what it has to teach me. When we meet it that way, without the judgment, without the shame, without the guilt, this was to help you sleep. You were having funny dreams last night. I didn't know if they were good or bad. You were kind of going in your sleep. So I put my owl feathers at your head and the dragonfly with it and the angel ball with it too.
Well, the dragonfly and the owl feathers must have gotten mixed up in my bed.
Oh, I put them away. This morning so they didn't get messed up. Okay, I love you.
Love you too. Thank you.
You're very welcome, sweetheart. Everything is temporary. Everything is finite. Everything is finite. The paradox is that everything in this material world is finite. Everything in the tangible world is finite. But when we explore the subtle layers of self and dive really deep into our inner cosmos, we find something constant, steady, infinite. And it doesn't take complicated practices. It doesn't take years of training. It doesn't take bending yourself into a pretzel or saying complicated Sanskrit words or in languages you don't know. What I discovered a couple of years ago that has changed my fucking life entirely, legitimately, is that it's the most basic practices the most foundational pieces. Showing up for yourself every day, making the time for you. And I say making the time, not taking it, because the time exists. And if you choose just 5 minutes a day, choose 5 minutes. If you choose just 3 minutes a day, choose just 3 minutes, but start showing up every day. One of the biggest things that we lose when we are reactive and let our emotions drive is trust with ourselves. How many can say that you truly trust yourself in every situation? I sure as shit don't trust me. All the way. I'm getting there. I'm learning. I'm learning. And I'm learning it through presence, through aligning my attention with my intention right here where they belong in the present moment, and then meeting anything and everything that comes up with curiosity and willingness. You guys, these 4 little ingredients, let me give you my 4 ingredient recipe that has brought me from a place of absolute despondency, ideation, nothing left, just a few years ago. My pirates are laughing because, people want to say that shaving the head, right, is a sign of mental illness, or it shows that you're not well. Pirates are laughing because, people want to say that shaving the head, right, is a sign of mental illness, or it shows that you're not well. On my 40th birthday this year, partially because I have found myself again. But I found parts of me that I haven't seen since I was a teenager. Since I was a 13-year-old who shaved my head for the first time. I did it because it was freeing. If I didn't have hair for somebody to pull or grab on, if I didn't have hair for somebody to touch or compliment, I had personal power. The first time I shaved my head, I felt so tall. My hair used to be used against me in a lot of ways. I wasn't allowed to cut it. And for the first time in decades, that girl who knows that she can take on the world is back. But she's back not from that little let's just jump on top of booths at a pizza place and make a bunch of noise and be an obnoxious teenager, because I was totally an obnoxious teenager. I was loud and verbose and all sorts of crazy. But she now informs the other parts of me. She now encourages the other parts of me, that when I feel a little scared or a little not so confident, I can feel her come in and it give me a little push in my mid-back, right behind my solar plexus. Just a little, you got it, come on. She's the one who dresses me most mornings. She's got the style. She's the one who dresses me most mornings. She's got the style. And I put her away so many years ago because I stopped trusting her. Again, the most foundational pieces: your intention and your attention, and meeting whatever comes up with curiosity and willingness. So If you would like to join me and practice these tools of intention and attention and curiosity and willingness, I mean, they sound kind of like, okay, that sounds great, but how do I actually apply those, right? Then come join me for a meditation. Today is our Saturday meditation, so it is a little bit of a bigger meditation. This one does include some visuals and a little bit of breath work. So if you are somebody who is new to meditation, says you can't meditate, doesn't have visuals in your mind, stay here, please. Especially if you feel like you can't meditate. Especially if you don't usually use visuals and you skip meditations that are visual. Remember that in this space, the most important pieces are your intention, your attention, and meeting whatever else comes up with curiosity and willingness. If we're sitting in meditation and I cue a visualization, instead of looking for the thing in your mind, feel for it. Listen for it. Smell for it. See if you can taste it. Usually when we cannot perceive with one sense, the other senses are heightened. So tell me, those of you who do not visual during meditation, can you smell the meditation? I must know, because I'm a very visual person and I see all sorts of stories happening. My brain likes to take us off on its own adventure. So we are going to do our meditation with our mudra for the week. So our mudra this week has been, we're going to create a game on these classes because occasionally I get on a track where I say so every 5 words. I'm going to have to reward somebody for counting how many so's I say. I almost did it again. The mudra for the week. James Nalla, we are perceiving more than we interfere with. I think I would flip that statement around, that we are interfering and interacting with far more than we are perceiving. In our ignorance, in our unawareness, right? So our mudra for the week, without further ado, let me scoot out of the sunshine, is the Vajra Mudra. The Vajra Mudra is the Thunderbolt Mudra. And it is done like so. Simply clasp your hands together, leaving your index fingers and your thumbs extended. Roll your thumbs in so that the sides of the thumbs touch and the pads of the thumbs touch the sides of your index fingers. Yes, they're going to open a little bit like this, right? So we snap them together and then roll them open a little bit. That's it. Nice, simple mudra. This is the Vajra Mudra. And I apologize, my Sanskrit pronunciation is not perfect, but I'm working on it. This mudra can be done seated, laying down, walking. Sanskrit pronunciation is not perfect, but I'm working on it. This mudra can be done seated, laying down, walking. This mudra can be held here at the heart. It can be held a little higher. It can be held all the way up here. The ideal peak experience for this meditation is done in a full thunderbolt pose, which requires you to sit on your heels. Now you can tuck your toes underneath and sit up on your heels, or you can do like so and have a nice cozy pillow and sit on your knees like this. Whichever way that you feel like you can hold the mudra best. We hold our mudras for a minimum of 5 minutes. Like I said, today is a bigger meditation. So we will hold the mudra for 5 minutes during the meditation, but not at first. That said, if you want to grab the mudra while we start the meditation and hold the mudra for longer, you are more than welcome to do so. Remember, in this space, you are your own guru. I'm not in your body. I'm not in the room that you're in. I cannot access you or what's going on inside of you, even if I was over there. So it's up to you to know when it's time to put the mudra down. It's up to you to respect your boundaries, so that you cultivate trust with yourself rather than forcing yourself past those boundaries and breaking trust again, right? And whatever comes up within us, we can at least meet with curiosity and willingness during meditation. What might come up, my breath might catch, and it might distract me. I can just be curious and willing to keep breathing. An emotion might come up. fear or shame. Oh, I can't do this. This is bad. I should just quit. I'm so bad at meditation. Blah, 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 blah. Curious. Interesting that I've got this naysayer in here and we just started the meditation and they're already bitching. I'm willing to listen, not willing to follow, but I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to hold space for you bitching. Anything that comes up, if my mind starts to walk away from my intention, which will be focusing on the meditation, then it's my responsibility to lovingly, if I can't muster lovingly, I wanted to get there. If we can't always muster lovingly, we can't always be compassionate, we can't always be patient. You may be sitting in this meditation and we get like 5-6 minutes in and your brain is still running at 1,000,000 miles a minute and bitching at you about other things. And you're like, holy fuck! No matter how many times it takes, this is what I implore you, no matter how many times it takes, meet whatever comes up without judgment, but just with curiosity and willingness. If you can muster love and patience, great. We all can't. We can't all the time, right? When we get really frustrated ourselves, it's hard to be loving at the same time. So it's okay to just be curious. It's okay to just say, if you have something to teach me, if you have something to show me, show me. But otherwise, I'm going to refocus on the meditation. A position for this practice, I personally am going to sit in a meditative position, and I might later get on my knees when we shift into holding the mudra. So again, we're going to go on a little visualization journey. If you'd like to lay down, you're more than welcome to do so. You can even do this mudra. So again, we're going to go on a little visualization journey. If you'd like to lay down, you're more than welcome to do so. You can even do this overhead. I would highly suggest if you are laying down, make sure that it still goes over your head. However, because you are your own guru, if you're laying down and you feel called to like hold it like this while you're laying down, see how it feels. See how it feels. What does this mudra do? What is this mudra for? This mudra, I keep mixing up the mudra. That's not the mudra. This is the mudra. This is the Vajra Mudra. This mudra boosts our willpower, boosts our self-confidence, sense of self, improves concentration, improves mental clarity, and overall boosts vitality of the entire system. This mudra is, again, called the thunderbolt, right? Vajra means thunderbolt. And that thunderbolt comes through the central energy channel in our system and clarifies, strengthens, and energizes that channel. That central energy channel is where that universal prana comes in. Is where that universal prana is like the transfer station from the universal prana in the Sushumna through the heart and creating our toroidal field, through the chakras to interact with the material world, with the tangible, right? The intangible comes in to interact with the tangible. So let's clear that central energy channel. I like to think about our bodies like a flute, an instrument of some kind, a flute in particular, because we have the central energy channel. Remember when you were a kid and you had to play a recorder in band class or whatever, music class, and we were all really terrible at it? It's okay if your flute sounds a little funny today. It's okay if your flute sounds funny as you learn to play. As you learn the subtlety of how to hold the fingers, how to hold, right? Different energy, hold the air over different holes in the flute to be able to produce the sound in just the right way. Give yourself grace. Acknowledge that you are exactly where you need to be, exactly as you need to be, exactly when you need to be. You showed up just on time. I'm proud of you. So, I did it again. So, a needle pulling thread. I'm going to cover my coffee so no sneaky flies fall in it. And then we're going to do this meditation. Again, you can do this seated upright. You can do it laying down. Hi, friend. Mossy, going through a really rough time after my partner left. Thank you for saying that. Absolutely. One of the more freeing shifts that I made for myself was everything that happened every single time to hold space for the understanding that there's something better on its way. When things fall apart, it's the universe cleaning house for me. When life doesn't go my way, it's God taking me by the hand and redirecting me to where I need to be. Knowing that I am a very small portion of all that is in creation, I can acknowledge that I don't know the big picture, that I'm pretty ignorant, right? Just by my nature. So I can be grateful in a weird way. Yeah, because it does feel a little weird. In a weird way. Yeah, because it does feel a little weird. And Mossy, yeah, a little bit of redirection, but also just acceptance, the acknowledgement that when one door closes, another one opens, that when something falls apart, it makes space for something more. You know, there's a practice with manifestation, particularly the feng shui, where if you want to invite something into your life, you invite it into your space first. You create the space for it. If you want a partner, you get a bigger bed. You know, if you want, you want to, I don't know, yeah. You add extra chairs at the table. Like you do things to invite these energies into your life, recognizing that they need space to arrive. Not every gift that comes to our door is actually for us, but we get in the habit of saying yes to every gift, hoping that this is the one that we've been waiting for. Oftentimes it means we end up picking up gifts that are for other people. I look at that like jobs and relationships a lot of times, that we end up picking up the gifts that were for somebody else. Oops, that was misaddressed and came to my house when it was not actually for me. That we end up picking up the gifts that were for somebody else. Oops, that was misaddressed and came to my house when it was not actually for me. Sorry, sweater that's 3 sizes too small. But how many times do we stay in relationships like that? That it clearly doesn't fit our lives, the job, or stay in a job like that, right? It clearly doesn't fit our lives and doesn't support our wellness, but we feel obligated. Like somebody the universe gave us this gift, so I guess I should just wear it. And then we wonder why we're miserable. We wonder why we're uncomfortable. We wonder why we don't feel good and feel like ourselves in our bodies and in our lives, because you're not being yourself. So this mudra is going to help clear the energy in your entire system. Somebody asked in here earlier, right? What is a higher state of being? This is when we raise our frequency up to these energy vibrations that vibrate literally at a higher measurable frequency. There's an amazing, you can find a million versions of them. There's amazing charts that will show you the frequency scales of like rage and depression and these other things, and then compassion, acceptance, joy, bliss, it'll show you the frequency measurements. We can measure these things. And your energy also, right? Your energy vibrates at a frequency. Well, what else vibrates at frequencies but wavelengths, right? Colors have the same wavelengths. This is how we work with the chakras and the colors and the energies and the frequencies, and how they're associated with different parts of ourselves and different emotions and different personality experiences and all these things, ego manifestations and such. So again, Vajra. Go ahead and grab your Vajra Mudra if you'd like to hold it for the meditation. I am actually going to hold it for the meditation just so that when people come in, they can see the mudra we're doing, hopefully. The name is back there. I know that doesn't help anybody who doesn't know the Sanskrit name for it. So I'm going to hold it. You don't have to hold it the whole time. I am going to hold it the whole time. You're welcome to hold it the whole time. If you'd like to, you will get more energy from it if you do. That said, again, I'm going to say it one more time because it's really important to remember. You are your own guru. If at any point tension comes up in your body, meet it, or in your breath or in your mind. Meet it with curiosity and willingness first. And if through curiosity and willingness, you hear your system say stop, even if it's a little stop. See if you can honor that today. Let today be the day that you don't push past any tiny little stop, any tiny little no. That you offer your whole system a day of genuine consent, or at least just a few minutes during this meditation, right? We might not be able to continue it throughout the day, and that's okay, but we can cultivate it here and now. Right? We might not be able to continue it throughout the day, and that's okay, but we can cultivate it here and now. We can give ourselves the space to do that. Does that fit over my... Does it fits over my coffee troll? Hey, Billy! Here and now. We can give ourselves the space to do that. Does that fit over my... Does it fits over my coffee troll? Hey, Billy! How are you? That is the perfect little gift image thing for our meditation. So, again, Vajra. That is the perfect little gift image thing for our meditation. So, again, Vajra, Thunderbolt. Find yourself a comfortable spot to put your butt, to lay down, or if you're in your car, just lean back and close your eyes. Please make sure you pull over. Again, Vajra, Thunderbolt. Find yourself a comfortable spot to put your butt, to lay down, or if you're in your car, just lean back and close your eyes. Please make sure you pull over and turn off the vehicle. Or turn off the vehicle and then let go and lean back and close your eyes. Hopefully that was self-explanatory, but sometimes I like to make sure that everybody's aware, right? Never mind. Shh, pirates. We're trying to meditate here. Go ahead and get your mudra. Find yourself a place to be. Doesn't matter how you're being, where you're being. Find a place to be. Smack those hands together. Interlace all the fingers except your index and your thumb. Roll your thumbs in just a little bit so the thumbs are side by side, pads of the thumbs on the fingers. Now remember, we hold our mudras with intention, not pads of the thumbs on the fingers. Now remember, we hold our mudras with intention, not... As you bring this here to your chest, I invite you to adjust. Adjust the mudra so it's not too tight. Wheel your elbows, flap your wings, let your arms hang loosey-goosey. Go ahead and close your eyes. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths to get into our posture. Begin by inhaling through the nose, pulling the breath through the lungs and all the way into the belly. And sigh it out. Inhale again, expanding the rib cage in all directions, front, sides, and back. Big deep breath. And let it go. Inhale again, this time lifting the heart and lifting through the top of the head to elongate the spine. As you exhale, gently tuck the chin, let the shoulder blades melt down the back, and scan the body for any remaining tension. You may notice you're clenching a butt cheek, or maybe curling your toes, or holding your knees or your hips in a funny way that feels a little bit tense. Give everything a little wiggle. Anything that needs a little wiggle, give it a wiggle. And then find center. Again, lifting the heart with the inhale, lifting through the top of the head, exhaling to release any tension. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all tension, all attachment to the past or anything in our future. All that we have is here and now. Inhale the present moment. Exhale any tension. Just stay with the breath here. Inhaling, creating space. Exhaling, releasing tension. Just stay with the breath here. Inhaling, creating space. Exhaling, releasing tension. Rhythm, a gentle ebb and flow within the self. With your eyes still, turn your attention to the sounds you hear in the room around you. No need for attachment, no need for story, just with your eyes still, turn your attention to the sounds you hear in the room around you. No need for attachment, no need for story, just listen. Listen to all the sounds in the room, directly in the room around you, just in the room around you, all at once. If there's any sound at all, if there's none, just listen. See if you can perceive one, see if you can find one. Just the sounds in the room around you. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, push your hearing out a little further to the sounds just outside of the room you're in. What can you hear just outside of the room you're in? Not too far away, not right next to you, but just outside of the room you're in. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, pushing your hearing out a little bit further. Deep breath in. Exhale, pushing your hearing out a little bit further. Sounds that are now a little bit away from outside around you, a little further, maybe down the block, maybe a house or two away. No need for story, no need to describe what these sounds are, just listening for them. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, pushing your hearing out as far as you can possibly reach. Reach for the furthest away sound. Feel how far you can reach that hearing, that awareness out beyond your being. Reaching for no sound in particular, just the farthest away one you can hear. Stay with the breath, slow and steady, reaching far, far in the distance. Keeping your awareness on the farthest away sounds that you can perceive, reaching your awareness, your hearing out beyond your being as far as you possibly can. I invite you to open your mind's eye and see the expansive, open, flat desert all around you. Nothing but sky and sand, maybe some contour. Look around at the expansiveness. No end in sight. Listen for how wide the sound. No end in sight. Listen for how wide the sounds are, how much room there is. There's not a cloud in the sky, and you can feel the warm sun on your skin. Glancing down at your feet, you see you are barefoot in the soft sand. And you begin walking to feel the sand shifting beneath your heels as your foot lays slowly over the earth, feeling it squish between your toes in that sand way, not mud. Soft, gentle, warm sand. You continue walking through the sand, in the desert, in the warmth. And as you do, you notice way up in the distance, you can just barely perceive a red plateau jutting out in the middle of nowhere. Take a deep breath in. And as soon as you acknowledge that you would like to go to this plateau, there you are. Exhale. The plateau now stands towering overhead. Deep red earth reaching up to meet clear blue sky. But now you notice there's a few clouds gathering over top of the plateau. Looking around this plateau, you notice that there is a pathway that circles around, and at the base of it, it is wide and gentle. You begin walking up this slow sloping path that follows the edge of this plateau. Slow sloping path that follows the edge of this plateau. Slowly walking up this pathway, you make your way a little bit higher and a little bit higher. And as you do, the clouds begin to gather a little bit more overhead, and you notice the wind picks up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Listening to the wind in your ears. Listening to the wind in your ears. Feeling it caress your skin, grab at your clothing as you continue walking up and around this plateau, the path becoming a little steeper and a little more narrow. As you continue walking around and around this deep red plateau, reaching up towards the sky, clouds gathering overhead, and the rain begins. Gentle raindrops, one here, one there, one here, one there, one there, one here, a little faster and a little faster and a little faster, until the rain begins pouring sideways from the sky and the wind is whipping at your hair, tugging at your coat, and you lean into the side of the plateau as the path becomes more and more and more narrow before you finally get to the top. You reach the top to a storm overhead, watching lightning crack through the clouds, not reaching the earth, sparking, arcing, jumping overhead. A beautiful light show. Such power. Such energy. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, send your breath down through your entire body into your feet and root your feet into this plateau. Imagine roots growing out of your feet deeply digging themselves through the plateau all the way into the earth, deeper and deeper through layers of rock and oil and water and compressed earth until it finally reaches the center, the hot magma pulsing center of the earth. Rooted, deeply rooted in the earth, grounded in the material, the tangible, strong and steady. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and send your mudra up overhead, all the way up overhead, reaching towards those clouds. Keep the mudra overhead. Watching the energy charging in the clouds, feeling the hairs on your body begin to stand up. The energy in your system vibrating a little bit higher and a little bit higher, almost as if the energy in your body vibrating a little bit higher and a little bit higher, almost as if the energy in your body is reaching for the energy in the clouds, almost as if the energy in the clouds is reaching and pulling at, tugging at the energy in your system. You are a conduit. Find the breath. Deep, steady inhales and exhales. Focus on keeping space between the shoulders and the ears. Long, strong arms. Holding ourselves upright with intention. Ready to receive. I invite you to sit this way for 5 minutes, staying with the breath and waiting to see if lightning strikes your mudra. Again, if visualization is not your thing, invite the feeling. Invite the energy. Notice the places in which it tingles already in your physical body. Feel the static in your breath. Let it roll through you as if you are truly on top of this plateau, a conduit waiting to be charged by divine energy. Stay with the breath. Inhale, gently lifting the heart and lifting through the top. Inhale, gently lifting the heart and lifting through the top of the head. Reaching up with the mudra. Exhale, gently tucking the chin, creating space between in the shoulders, letting the shoulder blades melt down the back. Holding our posture with intention, letting go of all tension. Stay with the breath. As you stand waiting to receive, experiencing this storm blowing all around you, still staying steady, strong, tall, and rooted in the earth, I invite you to create an audible sound with your breath. Ujjayi breath. Using the inhale to create space, create the sound of that storm blowing around us, exhaling as the wind passes by us and whips around us, exhaling to create space, releasing all tension, cultivating intention, releasing all tension. I invite you to receive from the lightning. Just receive from this universal prana, not by force, not by demand, but by surrender, by releasing all tension in your system. So when it does strike the surrender, by releasing all tension in your system. So when it does strike the tip of the connect your energy body with the one, that of the universe, so that there is a clear, open channel. Tension causes pain. Intention invites release. Stay with it. If your system is protesting, see if you can take a few more breaths. We're almost done. Take one last big deep breath in and hold at the top. Take one last big deep breath in and hold at the top. Static energy to vibrate through your system, resonate through your entire being, clear out your central energy channel and all those little minor channels, and exhale, releasing your mudra. Go ahead and shake your shoulders out if you need to. I sure shit do. Give yourself a wiggle. Keep those eyes closed for just a few moments though, because we are going to pause after all of that doing. In your mind's eye now, you are seated atop this plateau. The storm is gone. The sky is blue. The sun is warm. Take a deep breath in again and sigh it out. Inhale again. Sigh any remaining tension away. One more time. Inhale. And let that shit go. Go ahead and close your mind's eye. Once you've had your fill of the desert landscape, feel free to stay there as long as you'd like. Close your mind's eye. And just notice the sensations in your system. Your arms, your shoulders, your back, neck, your hands, your feet. Do you notice anything? Anything different? Anything interesting? Be curious. Be willing to just be with whatever is. No matter what state your system is in right now, you are right where you need to be. What state your system is in right now, you are right where you need to be. Feel free to stay in your practice as long as you'd like to. When you're ready to come out, I invite you to bring your hands together into prayer or simply lay one over the other over your heart in gratitude for today's practice, in gratitude for today's mudra, in gratitude for the prana that universal life force that is always flowing through the path of least resistance to bring you to your highest good in every single moment. In gratitude for these conduits, these meat bags that are conduits for that universal life force, for that prana. Offer yourself gratitude for taking the time for self-care today, whether you got the entire meditation in or just a few minutes, or maybe you just held the mudra, or maybe you just listened. Offer yourself gratitude for taking the time to be with you, to be with this practice. Thank you for joining me and cultivating this CAYA space where we can learn and grow and thrive together. When you are finally ready to close your practice, I invite CAYA space where we can learn and grow and thrive together. When you are finally ready to close your practice, I invite you to do rubbing your palms together, warming them up, and cupping them over your eyes to flutter your eyes open. Practice, I invite you to do rubbing your palms together, warming them up, and cupping them over your eyes to flutter your eyes open. Coming back. Oh man, Instagram ditched out in the middle of the meditation. I'm so sorry, guys. Katie, thank you. Made it all the way. Nice. Well done. I didn't sleep well last night. And I actually spent most of my evening going on that journey in the middle of the night, just trying to put myself to sleep. Heck, maybe that's why I didn't sleep really well. I was charging myself with some lightning. Maybe that's why I didn't sleep really well. I was charging myself with some lightning. The Vajra Mudra. You guys are very welcome. Sorry about the lag. Yeah, we've been having some internet issues. Hopefully we'll have the replay. Replays are always on YouTube. If you guys go to look for a replay and can't find the class replay, let me know. Sometimes YouTube skips a step and I don't get it on there. But replays for these classes are always on YouTube. I usually keep several weeks open, and then I have an archive for all of the classes that we've done since last November. It's almost been a year that I've been cultivating this channel over on TikTok or over on YouTube, but it's been about we've done since last November. It's almost been a year that I've been cultivating this channel over on TikTok or over on YouTube, but it's been about 2 on TikTok. And I'm so grateful for you guys. The opportunity to come and share these things and practice with you guys is so helpful and supportive to my own process and my own practice. Yeah, it's a little selfish, but ultimately, every act should be a self-centered one. Selfish says me and only me, fuck everyone else. Selfless says everyone else, never worry about me. Self-centered says fuck everyone else. Selfless says everyone else, never worry about me. Self-centered says me. My arms are still buzzing. My energy is still buzzing. Thank you guys for the follows. Let's see if TikTok's honest this time. So usually when we are on live, I've started counting the follows, like loosely counting the follows. And when I get off, TikTok tells me, oh, you only got like five new people. I'm like, no way. I saw like 50. Nomad happy, gonna try to be more self-centered today. Nice. You know, some of my favorite tools, two of my favorite tools for being self-centered to help me be self-centered, because if I don't know how to be self-centered and I'm used to just being selfish or selfless, then I gotta learn how to find it, right? I gotta how to find middle. One of my favorite ways to do that is by asking myself two questions. First question is, crazy, you just followed me and subscribed on YouTube. Whoop, 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 yes. Also, remember, you guys, you can come into the Discord. We have a Discord space. I have a Patreon page, Move with Change on Patreon. And that on Patreon, there is a free link to get into Discord. We are building an online community there of mindfulness, people who are practicing mindfulness, really people who are on their journey home to self, people who are walking the path of self-actualization, whatever that looks like for them. So we practice things like radical inclusion. We practice things like nonviolent communication. We practice things like personal responsibility, right? Accepting that I am in charge of me and only me is really in charge of me, right? What's Discord? What is it called? Oh, Patreon. Patreon.com. I think it's Patreon, but it might, anyway, patreon.com/move with change. I'm pretty sure there's a link in my bio. If not, I'm also on Linktree. But I hear that the link on Linktree to get in the Discord does not work very well on Linktree on the mobile device, I guess. So, if you want a link to get in the Discord, you can also just send me a message. That works too. If you want a link to get in the Discord, you can also just send me a message. That works too. He's part of our community and a moderator as well. So oops, what are you doing, TikTok? There we go. I'm going to pin you, Leb. You can also message Leb and ask him for a link as well. Thank you for the follow, friend. Badass Blind Woman, what was that? That was a powerful meditation for me. Wonderful. Did you feel that? I definitely felt it. What's really cool. So yes, also I have neuropathy in my arms, so it might contribute to it. But I found that during that meditation, I absolutely caught visuals of like a little bit of spark, right, at my fingers. But more so, I'm a very visual person. So usually I rely on my visuals in meditation. But more so this time, I actually felt that like generating an electricity through that channel. Remember, how do mudras work? Crazy, awesome, message me, yay, okay, wonderful. Badass Blind Woman, holy shit, I was nauseous toward the end. My whole body is still buzzing. Nice, upper lip quivering, wow! That is some fantastic movement. I'm grateful that you were able to accompany yourself through that. Well done. Well done, right? Yes, these are some of the experiences that we can have in meditation. And they are super cool, right? They feel really great. They feel really energizing, feel really clarifying, and we feel really accomplished. Like I did something. I did a thing. Did you see that? And we want to remember that the practices of mindfulness, we don't practice them with the intention of getting a cool visual or getting some psychedelic feelings or some lightheadedness, or they're not even really designed to be used to acquire the boons, to acquire the outcomes. Because if I am doing these practices to get something out of them, then I'm not doing the practices as they're meant to be done. It's like Zen. If you're like talking about Zen, you're not being Zen, right? That kind of thing. It's similar. Mindfulness is really about just being present with whatever is and oftentimes suspending our knowing and replacing it with curiosity first. Meeting everything with curiosity first. I might have information about it, but ultimately I can acknowledge that by nature, by structure, I'm actually pretty ignorant and pretty dense compared to the whole world, the whole universe, right? Like I'm kind of a dense little thing. So are you. And we're pretty ignorant, right? My eyesight can only see this much color. I can only see this much of the rainbow. Did you know there is more of the rainbow and we just can't see it? Do you know that there is a spectrum of sound that we absolutely just cannot perceive? There are sensations that are not available to our nervous system. By your nature, you are ignorant. And we end up staying that way when we walk around going, I know, I know, I know, I know, I already know, I know, I know, I know. There's no more for me to know. That fun little story of the monk, the guy who comes looking for a teacher, right? A guru, and he finds this monk, and the monk's like, well, what have you learned? And he goes, oh, blah, 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 blah. Here's all this stuff that I studied. And the monk goes, great, you have nothing to learn from me. You know everything. And boy, how many years I spent in that state. I know. See how natural that was? I know. She still lives in there too, but she doesn't drive anymore. Good afternoon, Spirit Wanders. Thank you. I'm just playing with my spaces. We have the RV and we stay in this house, but we're going to be moving out of this house. So I was moving into the RV and then we moved back in here because my son wants to be in all my spaces. And I keep trying to create a space for me. And I'm like, please let me have my little capsule container. I'm a Virgo and I need one little corner of the world where nobody messes up anything. And it's really hard to do. So, but this is my corner. This is my little corner that he doesn't mess with. So we have an agreement. The RV doesn't work. He wants to go play in there. Crazy, you asked, where am I from? I don't have a from. You can name a year or an age and I'll tell you where I was. But I am currently residing in Oregon. Badass blind woman. That was intense. My anxiety is through the roof, but it actually feels empowering. Okay, so here's what I want to add badass blind woman to. If you got out of that meditation, for anybody else too, if you got out of meditation and you feel really, really, really energized and it becomes too much, sometimes we can get too much solar energy in the body. If there's too much solar energy, too much air energy, that kind of stuff, these can end up causing anxiety, causing racing thoughts. So if at some point it becomes actually too intense, use the prana mudra, which is done by leaving your first two fingers extended and touching your thumb to the other two. Use this and put it in the earth. You can just put it on the ground. You can put it on the chair that you're sitting on the bed. Doesn't matter where you put it toward the ground. Put those fingers, make a connection, and send the energy down. The earth is so big and so powerful, and she actually feeds on that kind of energy. That shit that you're dumping out of your system. You know the way that we exhale something that we don't need, right? And the trees inhale it, and the trees exhale something they don't need, and we inhale it. I used to feel really guilty about dropping my bullshit into the earth, about my density and about my anger and about all this like weird anxiety and stuff that I was constantly just dumping into the trees and into the earth. And at some point I was like, I feel bad. Like, weird anxiety and stuff that I was constantly just dumping into the trees and into the earth. And at some point I was like, I feel bad. Like, try to like dump all my shit, have all the kids of the earth like dumping all your bullshit, all their bullshit onto you. And I heard so clearly, it nourishes me. It nourishes me. Sorry. Best way to learn nothing is you already know everything. Ooh, badass blind woman. The energy will release on the dance floor. Nice. Crazy, you said 2 of my kids are Virgos. When's yours? Mine's 9/9. I'm a 9/9 Virgo. It nourishes the earth. When we discharge those denser energies, because who's dense? It's really dense. It is the manifestation of the material. And it is the place in which we are meant to rest, to drop everything. I was thinking the other day how the whole like scary darkness stuff. And I realize it's been going on for much longer than our modern day, right? These ideas of darkness being scary and dark being evil and all these other things, and demons in the night and shadows being bad and all that kind of nonsense, or all that kind of stuff that we all buy into, right? It still creates a narrative. It still creates a narrative about and influences, creates a bias for the way that we perceive the night, the darkness, shadow, right? We talk about killing our ego and destroying the shadow self or stuff like that and fighting it. I can tell you that the most profound personal experiences I have had with Ma energy, like the Divine Mother energy, have been in the dark. Have always been in the dark. The dark. Have always been in the dark. In my greatest moments of fear, in my greatest moments of feeling most alone, I found the Divine Mother in the darkness, in those places. Not when I was trying to fight the shadow, not when I was throwing punches and screaming, not when I was trying everything I could to escape, not when I was trying to make up what everything was and trying to figure it all out. No. I found her when I surrendered. Maybe I'll read that story. That story's come up a couple times. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it on the browser and I'll read it. I have a story about finding hope. Crazy, sorry to ask, but do you have any gift subscriptions? I might. The best place to subscribe actually is over on Patreon. TikTok takes up to 60% of what I make on here, and they also hide my content, lag my content. So I encourage you to, if you want membership, to support me on through Patreon. If you want to make donations, I have a tip jar for Cash App. And if you want to subscribe, it does support me, so thank you. Gifts are fantastic, thank you. But the sustainable stuff that actually gets to me is over on Patreon. So, but there are subscriptions available here. But I don't know if I have any gift ones. I don't even know what gift ones are. I'll make a note. Let me look. I got Post-its. Because I'm a Virgo. Because I have Post-its. Okay. Oh, that's not a pencil that works. That's a pen, though. What were we doing? What was you saying? What? Gift subscriptions. If I do, that would be fun to maybe do like a little like, I don't know, raffle giveaway or something like that, but I need 50 subscribers to open up gift subscriptions on TikTok. At once 50 or 50 all in all, because I definitely had 50 come and go. What was I doing? I was looking at the story. I was going to look up that story. I really like this story. When I write stories, like I said, I'm a really visual person. So when I write stories, I usually see a story start happening. Like I get visual, right? Or a meditation, or I'm sitting, falling asleep and have a dream or whatever. And I'm just drawing something or doing something and start to daydream. But once I see that, there it is. There it is right there. If it's really good, sometimes I'll stop and I'll write it down. 50 at once, you think? Okay, I will check, Leb, and crazy. If so, I will message you, okay? All right. Let me see if I can read this on here. Let's scoot in a little bit for some story time. Are you guys ready for story time? I need to actually start recording more stories because the one I did just recently really, like, I felt really good about posting that, and it made me feel, I love telling stories, and I haven't been doing it for a long time. And that video I posted, it's called, it's just tagged Remember, about the Ring of Gyges. Yeah. So expect some more of this stuff. Badass blind woman. Transitioning from the light to the darkness has been quite the journey for me. It's been beautiful. I encourage you, when you are making that transition, to find the Divine Mother within that energy. As we move from the light, what is the light? Is that solar energy. That's the divine masculine energy. That's the up in the sky. That's that universal, it's part of the universal prana, half of the universal prana, right? But what isn't it so telling? The way we perceive the feminine in our culture, and also all of the fear and all of the misjudgment about darkness and shadow, and even more so about ego, right? We talk about the ego and shadow self as if they're our enemies, as if they're out to get us. Ego, right? We talk about the ego and shadow self as if they're our enemies, as if they're out to get us. One of the things that I had to spend a good bit of time really consoling myself a little bit for, forgiving myself for, was how long I painted myself as my enemy. And how many layers I was painting as my enemy within myself before I realized what I was doing. I mean, we think the negative self-talk is just so normal. We think that treating yourself like shit is just so normal, and that's what everybody does. And if you try to take care of yourself, what? Then you're selfish. No, it's called being self-centered. All right. So let me describe to you what happened when I was, on February 14th, 2016. I had a fat belly. I was pregnant. Sorry. I was pregnant with my son at this moment. I don't remember. I didn't remember that's when I put it up there. I was pregnant. February 2016. And I was having a bit of a hard time. Dealing with depression. February 2016. And I was having a bit of a hard time. Dealing with depression. Pregnant. Expecting my son in May. This one's just called Hope. The howling winds rip between the torn sails, tearing long wounds in their fabric. Her arms hug the splintered wood of the strong, wide pole holding cloth to ship. The grain pierces her skin as her eyes pay witness to the mirrored damage. Fear contorts her face into a painful grimace as she prepares to accept her fate. There's no way out. Always is such a deceptive idea, easy to fall victim to its alluring fantasy. But there's no way out this time. Resignation, surrender, despair. No more did longing grace her heart, replaced by nothing but the empty vessel that once carried it. Too long had she struggled to stay afloat, and now the final drop of will left in her evaporated. Her body sagged under the weight of her acquiescence, the splinters carving submission into flesh until her ragged bone bag crumpled to the deck of the ship. All right. I relinquished my burden to the waves. In the theater of her mind, she saw her death play out, how the tangle of sail and mast would circle the hull as the raging storm spun the sailboat head over tail. The waters would tug at her frame, but it was her abandonment that would drown her. No strength to swim, no cause to fight. As the planks beneath her heaved in their saturation, she knew it was the end. Her garments caught on their nails as she slid, formless, toward the starboard railing. It wasn't so much the landing that caught her attention, but the sudden sensation of weightlessness. As if all at once, it wasn't so much the landing that caught her attention, but the sudden sensation of weightlessness. As if all at once the hull floating midair. Her mind didn't even have enough time to conjure the image of her limp frame hitting ocean, floating midair. Her mind didn't even have enough time to conjure the image of her limp frame hitting ocean before it ship again. Her eyelids snapped open to the bowels of her vessel, boxes strewn about in the wrath of the angry storm still blowing above. She had not capsized. She had not drowned. Despite the sounds of movement behind her, the shock kept her gaze locked where it had landed. She felt a hand squeeze fingers around her left arm, pulling it up into the shoulder as the other one reached around her chest and grabbed hold of her body. The strong limbs yanked her quickly into the shadows as the heavy boxes shifted again with another throw of the rocking ship. A familiar scent filled her nostrils. The tension of surprise left her muscles. Hope, where have you been? She thought the words to the woman that clutched her into a safe, loving, parental kind of embrace. I'd given up. I had already yielded to death, believing that I had lost you. And she replied, it was in your giving in that you found me. I've been here all along, waiting for you to let me hold you. As hell rages on outside, breaking down your door, cornering you in the safety of your own home, as you push back against her, as you fight for your freedom, I await your surrender. The solace you seek lives in the warmth of my breast. Here we will weather the storms together, and you shall never be alone. Shall never be alone. That's where I found her. That's where I found her. Thanks for listening. I'm going to start recording more of those. I'm going to start reading more of them if I can keep my shit together. We've been sold this idea by our culture that we have to do so much to heal, to find hope. We have to create hope. We have to do things to be okay. Doing is only half of what's available to us, only half of what we need. The other half is just being. And that's the feminine. That's the resting. That's the night. That's the darkness. That's the night. That's the darkness. Or our inner shadow, darker self stuff. We see demons. We find scary things. We find intimidating things because we perceive them as such. And culturally, we believe them as such. And we've been spending so many fucking years judging them as such that they might as well be it. You ever felt that way? Spent so many years being accused of being an asshole. I might as well be a fucking asshole then. If I spend so many years accusing my anger of being an asshole, well, argue for your limitations, and indeed they are yours. So the radical thing is to see those demons as just tensed up, really dense part of your energy that can be repurposed. In my exploration of my depths, my vessel, I was going to say my bowels, I meant the bowels of my vessel. In my exploration of my bowels, the scariest things there actually turned out to be the most vulnerable. The most protected parts of myself are the ones that I perceived as the most difficult. Because they are. Why are they being difficult? Because they've been there protecting those vulnerable, gentle parts of yourself for a very long time, your entire life, most of your fucking life, in fact. And they've been doing it out of love for the core, vulnerable, true self that you are. Yeah, Leb, the greatest healing is in the places we're afraid to look. That's why I always say, where there is tension, place your attention. I don't always say that. Not like that. But I say it similarly. I was like, wait, I think that's the first time he said it like that. Wherever there is tension in your system or in your life, it is your system or the universe saying, I need your attention. And when we stop seeing tension as a problem and a burden, and instead as an opportunity for growth and realignment, it changes everything, you guys. It changes everything. Then instead of when tension happens between me and my partner, right? Instead of me going, oh, this again, I can go, ooh, here's an opportunity for growth. Vera, right? What part of Oregon are you in? I have family in Portland. I am in Southern Oregon. I'm out in the boonies, out in the woods. I used to live in Portland, but I don't do the city anymore. Too many people peopling. I like humans humaning, and there's a lot of humans humaning here in Oregon. Even in Portland, there's a lot of humans still humaning, but there's also a ton of people peopling. I stay away from people peopling. So, my friends, I need to contact my internet company to find out what the F is going on with my internet lagging, first and foremost. I think you forgot. Oh, you think you've forgotten how to people at this point? Yeah. Same. And it's also a personal choice, right, Leb? I choose not to people. I'm going to tell you guys about a really awesome experience. Okay, before I close out, because I am going to close out a little bit early, FYI, we have group coaching over in Discord. It is a 7-day trial membership. So if you want to jump into the Discord, if you're a member already in the Discord, or if you're already in the Discord, or you want to jump in and join us for group coaching at 1 o'clock Pacific time, You can do that for free today. And then if you decide to grab the membership, you can. And if not, then that's fine too. You can also, yeah. Side note. What was I going to say? About the story that happened the other day. About people peopling. Okay. And humans humaning. Internet. Otherwise, I'll forget that. Humans humaning. Internet. Otherwise, I'll forget that. There is one restaurant in town that I absolutely love. They are humans doing some fucking amazing human things over there. And they have all kinds of delicious food and they're really good at it. And I used to be a chef. I used to be a cook. So it's also something like close to my heart. And I love the way that they do it. And I would, if I could cook still, if I was allowed to cook still, I would beg to be working for their restaurant. So we were in there the other night. Still, if I was allowed to cook still, I would beg to be working for their restaurant. So we were in there the other night. I have Eb, who is visiting here. He's hiding outside right now. But we were out to dinner at this restaurant with my son. And I live in a small town. And small towns have all kinds of things going on, right? All kinds of small town chatter. There's always chatter in the small town. So I'm at this restaurant and asking them, I'm asking them about how holidays are coming up. And in this little town, the town I live in, they are so amazing at taking care of each other. I have never been in a small town. I have never been in a town like this, and I've been all over the world. I have never been in a town that I have seen so many people so readily offer support to their neighbors without any sort of negotiation, without any fucking charge, without any the only people you see peopling in this town oftentimes are people who are not from this town or people who don't live in this town, people coming through this town. Occasionally some people in this town, two people. Anyway. It is a small town, so we're not going to name any names. We don't need to use names anyway. So I'm in this restaurant and I'm asking them, hey, holidays are coming up. I know we do like a Thanksgiving potluck and I know there's Christmas drives and stuff like that. What can I help with? Because you guys are really connected to the community and I hide in the woods a lot of times, right? And I like to volunteer with my son. So they offer me, I think one or two options with this and that. I said, oh, if you want to do the Thanksgiving thing or this other thing, right? This is done by so-and-so. Do you know them? And I went, yeah, I do. And I didn't say much more. And we chatted for a minute more, talked about the volunteer stuff, and then they walked back to working, right? Mind you, the restaurant was empty. It was just an off night, and it was just us in there and them. And I think they had said something about the individuals that they had mentioned, and they said, they're good people. And when they turned away and went back to work in the kitchen, my son turned to me, who has interacted with these people, and goes, are they good people, Mom? And I paused and I looked at him. I said, honey, of course they're good people. Of course they're good people. Just because we don't approve of the choices they make or the way they live their life, just because we don't spend our time with them and choose not to intentionally, doesn't mean they're bad people. And the folks who I was talking to had just said, they're good friends of ours. So, of course, I'm not going to respond to them and go, oh, they're good friends of yours? Well, let me tell you the fucking shit about them. Let me spill the tea all over your fucking restaurant here and talk shit, basically, right? But something else inside of me kind of stirred a little bit because there was a reality to what my son and I have experienced with this individual these folks. And I'm not the only person who has had similar experiences. And so I pondered it. Leb and I were talking for a little bit, and I was talking to my son about it and about the difference, about how we don't all have to get along and different people like different people and all that. And then I paused and I got one of the guys' attention. I said, hey, can I ask you a question? It's going to be funny. This is humans humaning. So he goes, yeah, totally. Comes on over. And I said, so those people, I don't know how to do this. I don't want to sit here and talk shit. There's no reason to do that. And if you guys are like genuinely good friends, maybe you know these things and you don't mind. But I also need to figure out where I'm allowed to be in that. Obviously, I'm not going to pretend I like him for you guys, but I'm also not going to talk shit about him. But I also feel like it's important, if I was someone else in town and didn't know these folks, I would kind of want somebody to give me a more well-rounded picture of what people are like, right? When do we share our experience and let it be just sharing our experience, rather than using that information as judgment or as condemnation or to weaponize or to manipulate others? That's the difference between humaning and peopling. And what resulted was a fantastic conversation about how we show up individually, how we show up collectively, how we interact with each other in community, how we get things done in community, even if we don't all agree. Turned into some great conversation there. And we ended up having a really good laugh, right? And just about the general conversation. And after they turned back to work again, my heart had shifted. My energy had shifted. I felt more at peace. I felt more welcome in that space. I realized that in my own confusion of not knowing how to be, because I'm still learning me, I was causing myself tension. I was causing myself to feel uncomfortable. And I'm lucky that I live in a place where I could bring that up and verbalize that and have the people around me go, oh, I'm a human too. It was really beautiful. Yeah, and the result, was I got to share my experience a little bit. I got to feel seen and heard without feeling like I was talking shit, without feeling like I was trying to get one over on anybody, because I don't want to change anybody's opinion. I get to feel seen and heard without feeling like I was talking shit, without feeling like I was trying to get one over on anybody, because I don't want to change anybody's opinion. Are good people. People are people, and people deserve friends and community and family, and they deserve to belong. But we all deserve to belong. And we can't do that if we're constantly pointing fingers at each other and judging each other and trying to manipulate each other for you to get on my side, right? But I really believe that it was these last several years of doing a lot of these practices, really implementing the tools that I have learned, that gave me even the opportunity to have that conversation. I would not have had that conversation in the past. I would have either just shut my mouth, or I would have said something out of the corner of my mouth, right? Again, selfish, talking shit, or selfless, not saying nothing. Self-centered is to allow myself to be welcome in the space too, is to allow myself to be me in the conversation too. As we take this journey home to ourselves, to self-actualization, as we practice authenticity, it's gonna feel like that. You're going to find yourself with an awareness. You're going to find yourself with a curiosity. When you have that awareness, it's my favorite part. Enlightening your system, enlightening your body, enlightening your mind is just going from darkness to light. Guru means that which leads us from darkness to light. That's all it is. Enlightening the system, becoming more and more aware within your system, right? So if we are not enlightened, then ultimately we are kind of in the darkness in some way or another. We are in our ignorance in some way or another, right? There's a journey between ignorance and enlightenment. And sometimes we get really lost in that in-between space, and we get really confused, and we don't know how to move forward, and we don't know how to take the steps, and we feel like we don't know where we're going, and we don't know if it's the right or the wrong, and we don't know. Let me give you what I do. Again, simple, simple, simple things. When I have an awareness in my ignorance, of density somewhere in my system, whether it's in my breath, my brain, my thoughts, my body, I pretend that that little spark of light is the canary in the tunnel, is a fairy in the darkness, in the dark forest. This is your guiding light. You want to walk yourself out of darkness, out of ignorance. Light. You want to walk yourself out of darkness, out of ignorance. And your system, self-actualization. Then in each moment that awareness shows up for you, honor it, thank it, and follow it. See where it brings you. I had an unexpectedly expansive experience because I followed a tiny little question that seemed insignificant, and I don't think they would care. Who cares about some random somebody's person, question about whether or not they should talk shit, right? Like that. I can talk away. I can explain it away. I can bullshit myself about it and say it's not important and shut up. But like you said, badass blind woman, and what a great way for my son to learn through that. We talk about modeling for our kids. We talk about modeling for other people, leading by example. Try doing it for you. Be the example that you need. That's what be the change is. In those moments, be who you wish you could be. Be who you want to be. Ultimately, choose who to be. The more you do that, the more you cultivate personal power, and the closer you get yourself to true autonomy, self-actualization. And that process is the process of enlightenment. It's not far away. It's not super complicated. It's not full. Yes, it is full. Yes, it is full of all sorts of tools and pitfalls and boons and dangers and demons and gods and all sorts. It's madness, utter madness. If I didn't have my coffee in front of me in my hands, I would have fallen over with it. It's utter madness. But that madness gives us the opportunity to be madness gives us the opportunity to be still. It's one thing to be still in a still place. But if you've ever found stillness amid chaos, you know it's a very different experience. Meet yourself every day for just a few minutes. Just be with yourself every day. Meet yourself with curiosity and willingness whenever you can. Compassion if you can muster it. Patience if you've got it. Love if you can find it. Some days I don't like myself. But I will always value myself enough to meet me where I'm at. Nobody else can even do that for me. Not whether or not they will. No one can. Because I can't receive it from anyone else until I can do it for myself. I know, sounds trite and annoying and makes you want to go, and roll your eyes. But I'm here, unfortunately, to tell you it's true. Because I tried for 35 years to fix me by force, to change me by anything and everything outside of me, to amputate parts I didn't like, to get rid of, to starve away, to make manifestation happen. And in all of my using force, in all of my weaponizing my energy and my ignorance, I was pushing myself further and further away from home. But the beauty is, now that I have left, now that I left home and wandered around, now I get to come back home. Now I get to meet myself again. The beauty of not loving myself and not valuing myself is now I get to learn to love me. I get to fall in love with me, and that is a cool experience. If you've never done it, I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. So, my friends, again, we have group coaching happening in 1 hour. I have a coaching call directly after, so I'm actually going to get off here at noon and go have lunch and do my things, and then we'll be back for group coaching. That'll give you guys an hour to get into the Discord, and just send me a message either in here on TikTok or on the Discord once you get there, if you need a link, or when you are there to let me know that you want to join for group coaching. Same. Badass blind woman, and I've been completely spiraling the last 6 years. All I needed was meditation. Dude, that is legitimately what I, like, after the first year, right? After the first, less than a year, after the first several months of like just sticking it out and showing up for myself every day and using the most foundational basic practices of all. And I started feeling these huge shifts, seeing huge movements in my growth. I literally face palmed myself and was like, you're fucking kidding me. You have had all these, it was careful, I had to be careful because I got to that place where I was like, you have had all these tools stuck up in your brain box for how fucking long, and you haven't applied them. And all of that suffering, all of that wandering away from your truth was by choice, bruh. By choice. You beautiful, ignorant beast. How spectacular that you have survived all of the chaos that you have thrown yourself through. Magnificent. I'm glad you've had some fun rolling in the mud. Time to be the lotus. Absolutely, Sydney. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for holding space. Thank you guys for sharing the space with me. So let me give you a couple of announcements before we go. One, we have group coaching at 1. So come and join the Discord, and you can join that for free because it's a 7-day trial membership. And if you want the membership, it's on Patreon. You can also just go grab the membership and it should give you a link to join Discord and do all the things. Also, at the end of this month, we are having a workshop. I am, one of the many hats I wear is a death midwife. And I am doing a workshop on Halloween and the first 2 days of November for Dia de los Muertos, where we will be talking about home funeral, how to do a home funeral, how to pre-plan for a home funeral, legal considerations, personal considerations. I have a surprise for everybody who attends the workshop. And then the day the workshop starts, remember, information in this space is free. So if you come to the workshop, you can take the class with me for free. I will talk about all of these pieces and show you all of the cool slides that I just designed. If you want to download and keep this information, the workshop that I spent my time and energy putting together for you, it's available. It will be available for purchase the first day of the workshop. So for on Halloween, it will be available for purchase. That is the way I'm balancing out offering information for free and accounting for the time that I spent on it. There is a pre-planning workbook. If you don't want the workshop, but you do want to pre-plan for after death and end of life care, then go grab that pre-planning workbook on patreon.com/movewithchange. Again, the workshop will be for sale on Halloween, and then it'll be open past that. There are other workshops there as well. Just 1 second, I'm closing up, son, so hold on. Up until then, watch for home burial rites per state. I like to do this piece through content. So those are easy, downloadable, and these are just the basic regulations for each state. If you need to, you will always need to do your own research in your own municipal area, because some areas and counties and whatnot will have different rules, but I put the basic stuff per state. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments on the content about your state so I can make more videos and talk about them. But expect every single state. We are on Colorado today. I just posted Colorado today, I think, and they'll be on YouTube and on TikTok. So those will go until we get through all 50 states. We will do the workshop on on October 31st, November 1st, and 2nd. It will be 1 hour each day, and then I will probably leave a time afterwards if we want to discuss more. And then in the Discord, we will have at-length discussion. I will post reflection questions. We will dive deeper and do more playing with the content and discussing the material outside of the workshop. So the hour each day will just be there to get the information. And I've got some cool activities to do with it too. So, okay. That's that. Keep an eye out for that. Come join me if you want to reclaim your rights, your ability to take care of your loved ones at home. In most states, it's legal to do so. And most states, you can bury your loved one at home. You just got to figure out the right permits and municipal stuff and whatnot. So, let's see. The other big projects are, I am working on a journal for you guys for next year. All these last 2 years, we have been learning all these different tools from all these different perspectives and using them in all these different ways. I have been teaching mudras for the longest. Next year, I want to actually essentially turn next year into an entire workshop. Mudras for the longest. Next year, I want to actually essentially turn next year into an entire workshop. Next year on your energy body. I'm making a workbook, and I've got even like a little title. I'm going to call it the Inner Light, right? So these classes probably won't be Bhakti Bites anymore. They're going to be the Inner Light classes because we're working with the energy body. So in January, we're going to start talking about the aura and the koshas. So the layers outside of the self and within the self. February, we're going to get into the energy channels and the elements in the body and various points and whatnot in the body. We're going to spend the entire month on each of these things. March, we're going to get into the lower chakras, in the knees, in the feet, in the earth. We're going to study those chakras, learn all about them. Each month, I will offer you every tool I have in my toolbox to help align, balance, heal, clear, strengthen these parts of your energy body. So instead of what I did the last 2 years and do like 1 week per chakra, we're going to go an entire month. All of the classes, all of the practices are going to be centered around January, the aura and energy body itself. That also means we're going to be practicing viewing the aura, which is really good to do in January when it's exceptionally dark, right? It's getting brighter, but we're going to learn energy viewing and aura viewing. Spirit wanders. I didn't know there were chakras in the legs. I'm very interested in these classes. Okay, so these will be, again, free. Information is free in this space. The way that I'm hoping to rearrange the schedule is that I will do about an hour and a half or so on live, maybe an hour or so live. And then we will go into the Discord and we will actually do the classes and practices and deepen our practice in the Discord. I would really like to see this community shift from being only on TikTok and only in comments to moving into a collective space where we can do these classes together. I have been teaching now for 2 years online, and we have an awesome community. We've got 11,000 followers here. We've got a couple hundred over on the other platforms, and we've got a couple hundred of people in our Discord. I think we have enough people in there. I think we have enough interest in these classes that you guys can make into the Discord. And if I have to next year and we have to use a Zoom link because it's easier for everybody and bridges the gap, we can do that too. I'd like to make it accessible